Welcome to November. Yes, it's already November 2026. And we are going to talk about everything you need to know 250s. So I have got, I want to say the human calculator, but coach, that's probably not, you're just like the physiology calculator.
How you doing this morning, buddy?
I am doing good. I'm doing
It's good
good.
to see you're back in your basement, it looks like.
Yeah, back in the underground man cave.
I was gonna say, do you
Got
call it the digital cave or is it the man cave? What is it?
I would say it's definitely the man cave because I got an
Okay.
85-inch TV over here that during the Tour de France or anything, I'm watching that. Then got the 49-inch widescreen, then another 32-inch, then shit behind me, then the treadmill and the bicycle. And coach, I've been really into running lately, but my fucking knee, I don't know if it's just because bad shoes or running on pavement, but it just feels like my cartilage. It feels like I tore my ACL again. So I don't know, and I don't know how I could tear my ACL because maybe I just need to do some more squats and everything and I haven't signed up for another Ironman because my separated shoulder. It's been really hard for me to do pull-ups again
Hmm.
because I can't. I haven't been able to extend because it puts too much strain on that separation. And this weekend, not this weekend, but this month, I was planning on going to Arizona to do another one of those obstacle course races, and I was like, this one I'm gonna fucking win. And now I don't even think I'm going. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's
we're going to talk about 250s. I don't know why I brought all that stuff up. We're just
no, it's all
morning
good.
coffee.
Well, I asked you about your man cave and you've got the bike and the treadmill and everything else in there. And do I still see your tribute to your father? Is that the one directly behind you? Is that the number plate to your dad?
No, I got it on the wall
Okay.
over here.
I just
Yeah.
really love that. I just think it's so cool. And I saw it in person when you were actually before you moved when Paige was still in medical school. I love that. I think it's mad respect to your dad.
Yeah,
I love it.
it looks just like that number plate, but it just says like in loving memory, you
Yep.
know.
Well, we tend to forget those men that went before us and all the sacrifices that they did. I don't want that to sound hokey, but I just every day I just have so much respect for my dad because as you get older, you see the things that they persevered through, um, making sure that we get to enjoy go racing, et cetera, et cetera. So here you are with two little ones, and look at you now. Now you're a dad. Isn't it crazy how quickly that goes by? Seems like
Dude,
yesterday you were.
I really wish that my dad would have been around to see
Yep.
my little girl. They would have just had a hoot with some of the shit that they would say, and then
Yep.
not only that, but then my little boy, because I was honestly, I was riding again yesterday, and I was riding the new Desmo 450, which I'm gonna
Mm.
have a very mediocre, just plain, just shoot it to you straight review about it. I'm not gonna go Kiefer style, real in depth on stuff. Just boom, boom. This is what I think, and go on. And
How was it? Was it a tight machine?
for a first generation, I loved it.
Okay.
Loved it. I definitely think that Ducati hit the mark on that,
We've got
which
a,
is
Ducati dealership that's right up the street, literally 2 miles from our house, and, whenever and I apologize, I know there's new versions, but, like, when a Ducati 999 would go by, I'm just like, "Gosh," it just makes your mouth salivate, you know what I mean? Just such a beautiful bike, and I was just curious what your first impressions were, because when you see it, it looks like Ducati, first class all the way, but I'm glad that,
honestly not super first class all the way because
no.
the low end, I was kind of disappointed where it was like, okay, they put a cheap chain on it,
Mm,
kind of cheap sprockets. You got the cool
interesting.
brakes, the Brezmo brakes,
Mhm.
but maybe not as big of a rotor I'd like. You don't have any coating on the forks. You don't have any aftermarket triple clamps. No Apokovage pipe.
Yeah,
XL standard, easily talkable rims, and
interesting.
that's 13.5. So that's
Okay.
like the base boom. So if
Yeah.
you really want the cool shit, it's going to be 16, 17, which that's a premium. But
Mhm.
with that,
What's a factory edition? KTM or,
12, 13, maybe 14 out the door with dealer handling,
so it
you
still
know?
ran more than the factory edition of the others.
Yeah, from just the standard. But I don't want to give away too much of what I
Nope.
thought
I
of
was just curious
the
with all your
motorcycle.
experience riding and racing. I really appreciate getting your feedback on what you thought the first time.
Yeah, I screwed up my hands riding it because I
Mm.
got soft editor hands at the moment, you know? So I was just like, what the
I've
fuck?
never heard that. I've got editor hands. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. All the people around the track, they're like, Johnny, you're only going to do 1 hour moto. And I'm like, dude, my hands are toast. And
What
I
track were
think
you
I
on?
was, say again, coach?
I apologize. I interrupted you. What track were you on?
Just a local track here that's Aztec, you
Is
know?
that the one that you were on a couple weeks ago that we were talking
No,
about?
that was a different one. That was called the Ram Off-Road Park.
Okay.
And it was funny. Like I posted a video of me riding and I got a bunch of comments of like, holy shit, I didn't know Hopper could ride. It's like, I know I don't ride that often anymore,
Well, what
but
what I can't help but laugh about is your channel was originally started on how-to videos. If you go, guys, you have to
yeah, they're still my best videos.
go to
Yeah.
Johnny's channel, right? And then go to a playlist and then look at the how-tos. It's phenomenal. And I told you this when you came out and joined us at Western when we did that camp out there. It was phenomenal to see how fast you guys can really go. And we should probably do a journalist race, is what I think. I know you don't
Oh,
consider
that'd be
yourself a
so much
journalist and all
fun,
that,
dude. I
but
would
dude,
love to just
line it up.
take out some certain names, just come in, boom,
Yeah, but
just
here,
maybe just
here.
push 'em off the track, you know?
So do you put Kiefer in there as a journalist?
Um,
He's in that journalist community, but I don't know that he considers himself a journalist. We know he's a tester.
I don't know, but really the only guy that I don't think I can beat is
Moseman.
yeah,
Yeah, I would
Josh.
agree.
Yeah, that
I
dude.
I was at World Vets last year and he was there and he introduced himself. Super nice guy. Holy cow, fast. But we talked a little bit about it last week. Go to World Vets, man, and watch. You got Colton, you got Nichols out there. You've got Alessi was out there. I know I'm forgetting some really good names. Brownie was
Yeah.
out there.
I was never going
DeBock.
back after the shit show that I saw happen with having the 50 and 60-year-olds out with the 125 Pro Moto that's 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
That was the most dumb thing I have seen for.
But I think Bud and those guys, I think they made those adjustments to keep that from happening again. I wasn't able to go. In fact, World Vets were this weekend. I wasn't able to go just because of Michaela's father passing away and trying to get that stuff cleaned up. But yeah, Bud does a good job. But what I love about Bud and that whole group at Glen Helen is they listen. If they something like that, let's just say it slipped through the cracks. They're very good about correcting it. They're very good to listen. It's just like Scott over at Paris, same thing. Zeb, who owns, Prairie City, and he owns Sandbox, and those guys listen. Of course, they're all ex-riders too. So, but no, it's talking about fast riders. But I'd love to see where you fit in and see. Like I said, Kiefer, I think could give you a run for your money. Moseman, I think would have to.
Yeah, Keever's always been a really good rider,
He's
and these
fast.
guys ride quite a bit.
Well, that's Kiefer's job, right? And so with Moseman being a
well,
test rider
they
for
just
MXA,
ride and test out of Glen Helen all the time, right?
Well, and that's what's amazing to me is when you look at somebody like a Moseman who does ride. In fact, I apologize. I'm having a senior moment here. When I was out there, one of the guys, I want to say it was, I don't want to say it was Moseman. One of them was riding the Stark bike, and it was just
Ah,
amazing to
shit.
watch them go by.
What's his name? He's like,
I can't remember who was running it.
what was he? He's like a model or some shit, right? I think
all I know is
because I think he was on Gypsy at one point too.
But on that motorcycle against those guys, again, the Brownies of the world, the Mosemans of the world, Nichols, there's just so many stacked guys in that class. And yeah, I was even walking up and down the starting gate when they were all in the gate. And I just kind of commented to myself, I was like, man, this is like a national all over again. They said bad mofos. And then you watch Alessi and hole shot at almost every single moto. It's like he still has it, But
okay,
I know we're talking about 250s. Appreciate it. Wherewithal. Much, much appreciated.
Oh yeah, saying like, what's
No, I just appreciate the condolences there. It's like my dad said, there's only two things guaranteed in life, and that's death and taxes. So
Ooh, wait, maybe I'm off on condolences.
it was just up a few seconds ago.
Yeah, I know, but condolences for what?
My wife's dad passing away. Hit the
Oh
refresh
shit.
button. Mine locked up
Okay.
as well. I had to hit the refresh button.
Okay.
But
Damn it.
no, yeah. While we get started on the 250s, I just can't believe. I mean, it's been almost what, a month since the last round of SMX. It just goes so fast. And don't we have Argentina this weekend in World Supercross?
We do. That's
And
going to
then
be the
for
big one.
those of us who love endurance, Johnny, you've got 70.3 Worlds this weekend as well. That's stacked beyond. But whoa, look at that!
Oh yeah, this was.
Where in the hell is that? That looks like Blackwater 100 all over again.
Yeah, we were talking about Josh, right? And Josh said that he made it a lap and a half in this mutter. And there's this iconic photo that I think Motocross Action posted of a dude just smoking a cigarette that I thought was. Did you see it, Coach?
At World Vets? At World Vets?
No. This wasn't at World Vets. This was at that same race.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
that would be about appropriate.
Josh, and I think they were going to show the kid that was on the
electric bike.
Yeah, the electric bike, but
it was interesting because I went into the infield. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's priceless. Don't you love the only thing that's cleaning is his face from the goggles?
Yeah, but to be honest, like, your bike is trash.
Oh yeah. Well, here's my question: how the hell did he get a cigarette? It's 40 feet of mud on either side of him, but he's got a dry cigarette.
He probably had one packed in in his pocket or something. But
that looks miserable. That's like Blackwater on steroids.
Yeah, not to say that like I'm a pussy or anything. Maybe I'm just smarter. But if I was to look at that kind of stuff, I'd be like, "Fuck you guys! There's no way that I'm gonna go. Everyone's gonna get stuck. This makes zero sense whatsoever."
I think our frugality that pains us to watch that, because all I can see is nothing's coming out of it worthy of keeping. I mean, everything from plastics all the way through. And yeah, I don't know. It just reminds me of reading the Motocross Action in the Blackwaters with, I'm drawing a mental blank. Who's the guy that used to ride for him? Yeah, I want to say Woody. It's not his name. Husky. Remember the big guy Husky would ride? Or maybe he wrote for Dirt Bike Magazine. Motocross Action, and somebody in the chat room helped me out. Motocross Action had a guy that rode for him, and then Dirt Bike and Motocross Action each had, I think Husky was riding. He always had an article early on in the magazine. But I don't know about you, Johnny, but I do miss looking forward to having those magazines drop into the mailbox every month. You know, you get your Cycle News Weekly, you get your Motocross Action, your Dirt Bike. Yeah, I
was never a huge fan of Cycle News, and it was probably just because I was super young.
Yeah,
under 10.
It was the only way you could get stuff on a weekly basis. You know, months seemed like forever to get that new Motocross Action and Dirt Bike.
This just does not look fun at all.
What is it? Is it just a drag strip? Is that what it is, or is it a loop, or is it a race, or what is it?
No, it's a Gotland Grand National. And where the hell is this? Linktree. Okay, where's their actual website? Oh yeah, that's it. I'm gonna sign up right now because after watching that looks like definitely gonna go back. Swedish. Okay, so is it in Sweden?
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Okay, those guys are maybe they're just built different over there.
Well, they're afraid of nothing. No, I agree 100%. When we had the privilege to go over to Ireland and over to the UK, and we've got a chance to go to literally a legitimate castle. They had this huge bike festival there. And if you guys can imagine like a storybook castle with 1,000 acres, as green as you can imagine. And they built a trials course. They built a grass motocross track. They do it every year. And this gentleman, he owns this castle. And when I got invited to come over and be a guest speaker, they had Roger DeCoster was there, Brad Lackey was there, I can never pronounce his name. I call it Hinken, the guy that rode for Yamaha. Just Graham Noyce was there. It's a different mindset over there. To your point exactly, Johnny. Completely different mindset.
My point is just like, who the fuck sees this stuff and just goes, all right, we're just going to send it. We're just going to send it. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, but here's what's embarrassing. There's always one dude that makes it look simple, right? He just blows through everything, and everybody else, 99% of the field gets gobbled up by it. And this guy just skates over it. You're like, what the heck is he doing
But
so
Coach,
different?
I was just showing you that Mosman that we know is a damn good rider. He said he made it a lap and a half.
Wow.
Before the bike just blew up.
That's insane.
So,
yep.
And what is he riding? Is it a Triumph or you can't even tell?
I was going to say, you can't even tell with the bike.
Yeah. What is that?
What is that? I'm drawing a mental blank here this morning.
I don't know.
The one that was at Des Nations, there's only one guy, starts with an F. Is it Faction?
Fantic?
Fantic. It kind of had that red and white look like the Fantic, maybe.
Yeah, that was like, this has been going on too, is the Indian Supercross. God, can I not even spell? And Matt Moss, who was the Australian champion and, was a really good rider over here, but then he got banned for 4 years for using SARMs, the selective angelin modular receptors that were supposed to be somewhat like testosterone. But where maybe I need to just look up Matt Moss real quick, because I believe he was on another manufacturer that was not for the same. And
the Barn Motorsports in chat, I totally agree. It does look like a wild boar for sure, especially after we get a couple weeks of rain. 100% agree.
Yeah.
Now, is Matt's brother racing as well, or is it just Matt that got a contract?
I think it might have been just Matt.
Okay.
But I don't know what type of motorcycle he was racing, but here, he should just have it. Big Rock Motorsports. Maybe professional sports team. Are they going to say what motorcycle they use?
Go down to when maybe he got announced to the team and maybe he's got a team shot.
Yeah.
Like,
I know what we're supposed to be talking about.
There you go. Right here. Right where you're at. Go to the second to the right. Look, clicking on, he's sitting on the bike. Clicking on that. One up. Yeah.
Click on this one or no?
No, that was the right one. He's got Big Rock on the shroud. I was wondering if maybe they would tell you what bike they're running. It's all team graphics, not the actual bike itself.
Yeah. So I was just like,
but you know what? Props to them. If the OEM isn't supporting, and we've seen this a couple times here in the States, when you're not really getting the support from the manufacturer, why run their colors? You know?
Yeah, agreed.
That's interesting. Even as they were spinning the bikes, you still couldn't tell what they were.
Other thing that I saw that was somewhat interesting before we get into the 250s, but I know we kind of had this argument before. Was Anderson going to be on the shitty bike, the Twisted Tea bike? But everything that he says looks progressive. The bikes, at least the shrouds and everything, look identical. So I almost want to say that Pipes over there on that Suzuki team created a whole nother just K-Rock replica bike for Anderson, which I sure as hell hope so.
Me too.
As opposed to this Twisted Tea deal.
Well, we've heard that Suzuki is kind of coming back around, and Dustin Pipes and his whole, his brother and his parents and all, they're a very, very astute business family. They own numerous companies in California, very, very good business people. And I think it's cool because if Suzuki is coming back around, as much as we joke about the Kickstarter and everything, you got to think about, and this is something, I know we're talking about a 450 program right now on a 250 show, but this reminds me like when Ricky was with RCH and they had Roxon and they had the best of everything. And remember, the Suzuki sales just didn't compare to all the other OEMs. Even though Ricky was winning on it, during his time. And then when Roxon went over to it and was dominating, still didn't move bikes. And I think that's, if you start looking at consumer behavior, even though the bike was out there winning, I'm not even alluding to the win on Sunday, sell on Monday mindset, but I'm always interested why the Suzuki just hasn't really gotten that market share. And I'm going back when, obviously people will joke that this platform's 10 years, 15 years old. Consumer behavior is interesting because why weren't the Suzuki selling when you had Ricky with the Makita Suzuki program?
Yeah, I don't know.
They had James. They did well with James. Didn't sell a lot of bikes with JGR. You got Ricky over there. Didn't sell a lot of bikes. Now, when I say a lot of bikes, I'm just saying in proportion to the others. But I'd love to see the R&D money come back. And I think if this continues the trend it's going, wouldn't it be cool to see the Pipes team all of a sudden start getting the same support that Star's gotten with the Yamaha? Think about that. Because the only team,
sweet.
I guess 2 teams on the 450s at least that are still under the OEM umbrella is only Cowie and Honda. Everybody else is under ancillary. Yamaha's under Star. I guess you could also throw KTM's 450 programs out there. Well, now that I say that, no, because Husky's got their own as well. So I'm going to retract what I just said.
Well, and talking about what we did a little bit last week as far as the whole gear deal, well, Thor just announced over the weekend, that, hey, it's been good memories. We're moving on. So, like, it's totally official. And the thing is, it's with that Star coach, they have the total own deal. So unless he did something with being able to be on that 250 to still run a Fox rather than Thor, it's pretty much looking like all 450,
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I got ostracized. People sent me some scathing DMs saying I was an effing idiot that Deegan's going to race 450s. And I understand it doesn't seem to make much sense on the cover, but this is just another piece of the puzzle that makes it seem like the 450 program, going and doing some of the World Supercross and then signing up for the 450 class. We talked a lot about it last week. It's a win-win for him. If he doesn't come out and smoke everybody, it's in the 450 class. There's some learning curves. If he comes out and does really well, people are like, wow, he's coming out with the same pace that he did in the 250s. Like we said last week, Deegans don't do anything unless it's the right time to do it. And if they stay on 250s, which I'll be extremely surprised and even highly doubtful that it happens, but if he does stay on 250s, that's just because Brian and Hayden and the whole family just say, hey, we're not ready. But I don't see it happening. There's too much forward momentum going on right now. Way too much.
I mean, speaking with the little bit that I have with Brian is they are notorious for striking when the iron is hot.
Mm-hmm.
And what is literally going on right now? The iron is hot when it comes to, like, let's just go with 450s. Let's not even dick around with another championship, because at the end of the day, like, nobody cares who won multiple 250 championships. I know we all love Mike Brown, but he was always just a 250 guy, and if he would have won that one big boy championship, it's just the money is in the big dog 450 class. So
Absolutely.
The sooner he can get up there, the more time he has there. And being 19, maybe 20. I don't know exactly what his birthday is, but I think he's 19. I think it sets up. And here's Fox showing just a little teaser. It's hard to stay quiet when you want to be loud.
Mm-hmm.
There is lot
with the blue rim. Yeah, with the blue rim. Well, and to your point exactly, I mean, it made for great racing when Ferrandis and Christian Craig were killing each other, and Colt Nichols not dominating, but putting together a championship in the 250 class. It just validates exactly what you're saying. Whenever they're showing those guys on the TV screen, they're not saying Colt Nichols, the 2011,
and then Coach
East Coast champion.
Look who liked it too.
Who's that? I apologize, I can't see
Deegan.
it.
Yeah.
Deegan. Oh, nice. Yep. It's one thing that, Johnny, you're in the business of marketing. A lot of our people in our, here live in the chat room, and the people who subscribe and leave comments. We love the marketing of our sport. It's one of the things that makes our sport so cool. My wife asks me all the time, she's like, I'll make a comment that Deegan's going to Fox, and she's like, who cares? And I'm like, everybody. She's like, really? People pay attention to that? Now, Johnny, you'll appreciate this. My wife, Michaela, who she's done half dozen Ironmans, and she gets the survey afterwards. What sponsors did you recognize? And she writes, none. She doesn't know who the swim sponsor is, the bike sponsor, or the run sponsor. And I'm sitting there watching the show, and I'm like, oh, look at Gustav Eden. He's got a new shoe sponsor. And she's like, how do you know? And I'm like, where's On? Right there on his shirt. She's like, why do you pay attention to that? I'm like, I think it's just in our DNA as motocrossers. We look at stickers, we look at goggles, we look at seat covers, we look at everything. It's I'll show you how much I geek out, Johnny. I like how the factory teams are starting to put the stickers on the underneath the front fender. I mean, is that so not 1980s? I mean, come on.
Yeah. I honestly,
Come
I didn't
on,
know
it's
that they
cool.
ever
I'm
stopped
hoping
doing
I'm hoping that the butt patch comes back in popularity. Remember, we always used to wonder what was James going to come out bubblicious on the back of his pants, or as Alessi did, believe the hype.
the Buenos Aires, is that one this weekend, or is that
Yes,
the
sir.
second?
I think it's the first one. I may be wrong with that. We might want to look up their race schedule.
Yeah.
But I think it's this weekend, because I remember they were saying it was 2 weeks out. Yeah, that's a good point. Wherewithal, 250s only get talked about when how stacked the field is, but
Yeah, it's
nowadays
the first one, and the next one is Canada. So that's cool that he's going to race the first one.
I think he's doing
Right.
first and third, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and that lines up with trying to get ready for Supercross.
Yeah.
On a big bike. I'm still super stoked about the No Fear gear.
Yeah, it's good to see it come back. I just hope that it can get more traction, because when JT tried to come back with Alessi, it just didn't get the footing. And I think that's part of, again, a generational where you and I grew up, and we remember, JT was the gear, 2-page spreads in all the magazines, and they would go from color, Yamaha, Cowie, Suzuki, all the way from left to right. And they had everybody. I mean, if you look at the top guys, they had them all. And then Fox started picking away when they got Barnett, Howerton, then they got RJ. That was a big shift for Fox when they were able to get Ricky Johnson. And then Fox started getting some momentum. But you got to think about this, Johnny. If you zoom out and where Fox is at, let's say Roxon's got another 2 to 3 years, right? Hayden is going to be that next heir apparent to being the number one Fox guy. I mean, if you look at the way that the landscape of gear has changed, and we have to give credit where credit is due. Fly has done a phenomenal job. Their gear looks great. We had Trey on a couple weeks ago. Trey was, I think, the first pro rider to be in Fly gear, either him or Andrew Short, or maybe they both were wearing it at the same time. But those guys were the OGs of Fly gear. And now look at Fly's got Webb with the number one plate. I mean, think about how far Fly's come in, 15 years?
Yeah, Coach, I'm trying to highlight this because these guys are teammates, but they're going to race against each other too. So, whoa, gosh, dang it. Is Tomac doing the whole series, or is he just doing a couple too? What is he doing?
I think he's only got wild
card.
How
funny that he's not doing that first one. So he's going to do the second one,
well,
and then the third
put it
one
together. Why would he not do the first one? He's only going to have 6 weeks on that new Cowie, or excuse me, on the new KTM.
True.
Why would he go do the first one? He's going to have, he'd be ridiculed, unfortunately. And then you saw yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, they dropped Sexton on the Cowie. They've got all the pictures of him out riding. If you go to Racer X, it's on their website.
Yeah, I think Sexton had that too.
Well, if you go to Racer X, the photos, I don't know where they did the photo shoot. Literally the bike is on the beach. So I have no idea where the hell they shot these pictures. Look at that. Look at that second one over right there. Look at that. I mean, that's just
that looks like Hawaii.
It literally, but then go through the pictures. I mean, he's literally on the beach. I mean, look at that. Look at the green around it. Look at that. I have no idea where they did this. And I mean,
did they just make a track in Hawaii? Because there's only like one track on each island.
Yeah, especially with the palms like that. I mean, all joking aside, it looks like Hawaii. I don't know where you would get palm trees, a track,
Well, no, look at the
some
waterfall in
mountains.
the back there.
Mm-hmm. I have
That's
no.
straight up Hawaii.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, wow.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to seeing the videos. I want to listen to the bike as he rides it. I mean, that right there is best. That's so picture perfect. It's sick.
But
Wherewithal saying that's where he went after the season. So maybe we just got our answers.
Oh, just to, yeah. Okay. A lot of guys are saying that it's
think about the
Oahu.
coordination of that. Think about the coordination of that, right? You've got one of our top stars goes on vacation because they're going to do a photo shoot there. And I'm mesmerized by how much forethought has to go into all of this. It's just like that picture of the boot, the Fox boot with the blue wheel. We look at it and go, that's cool. Somebody had to think that up, go get the photo, drop it into a timeline of when it's going to drop. I don't know. I love that side of the business of all these different press releases. And of course, we'll have Tomac, I think, breaks.
Yeah, but this looks different. This isn't Hawaii here.
I think Tomac breaks tomorrow, either Tuesday or Wednesday. Tomac drops. But, all of this had to be coordinated. And another thing that's pretty interesting is, you've not seen any secret pictures or videos or pictures of this. I'm sorry, video and or pictures of these guys when they keep this under tight wraps. I mean, for contract violations, obviously everything got extended to November the 1st. But these videos, they didn't just do it on November the 1st. And here we are 2 days later seeing it.
Yeah. But then, we hear from Trey that all the test riders are riding all sorts of different bikes, which I thought that was a no-no. But apparently that's not a no-no with the testers. As long as you don't have the main guy on it,
absolutely,
you should be good.
And it's only for that reason, right? Because you'll get somebody who unfortunately is there, snaps a photo or a video of it, and then wants to be a social media hero, or you leak it to somebody who takes it out of context. I mean, and that's just the kind of stuff that they don't want. So it makes sense that Trey and those guys would get a chance to test it all.
And then Coach Kaida Wolf at the Sleigh Grounds.
Mm-hmm. How cool is that?
Yeah, dude, those half pipes. Jesus, man.
And you got to give it credit. You got to look at who you're looking at. Kaida Wolf. You got to give him credit for a dude that we see how fast they go on a motocross track, but that's somebody who's got sick bike handling skills. I don't know about you. Would you hit one of those freestyle jumps?
Not the half pipe.
Would you hit that right there? No way.
Yeah, no, follow somebody. That's a pretty safe landing with the tabletop on top. Not the
backflip one.
Okay, so he comes over here. Oh, is this the
little stoppy?
Yeah.
Notice how he just kept it straight as an arrow.
He didn't go for the gigantic, huge booter. Still went for some big booters. Okay.
And where's this at? Slayland?
In California.
Is this Monsters place?
I thought it's Axel's.
Axel Hodges. Well, he's a Monster guy, so this would be a Monster compound.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken,
I thought this was all just his. But you think? I mean, I guess.
Oh no, it's his. But it's got all the videos and the commercials that we see. They're all shot right here.
Yeah.
All the Monster videos are shot here.
Yeah. And I guess
if I'm not mistaken, don't hold me to it. Don't hold me to it. But I think that those are built by Jason from that owns Sandbox here in Orlando, Florida. Wow, that's so cool.
Well, and then God, what was it? Because do you think Kaida Wolf is going to race 250 Supercross over here?
Yes. Yeah, he's I don't know where he's training full time, and I know the Coonans are at Master Pole's place. But I don't know where he's training. I don't know if you've seen anything. I personally haven't seen it.
Because this was also funny. Hayden told him, be careful, because Kaida Wolf was over here in the United States doing Supercross. And then he responds, he's coming after you, Deegan. So I think that was cool. But this might align perfect with you're not going to see them race. because if
Mhm.
Deegan is on the 450,
Yeah.
Kyle Wolf is going to be on the 250. But it's kind of okay. Now, 35 minutes in, we've been kind of sort of talking about 250s, but the
No, this is
segue
good.
between
This is good.
what coast are these guys going to race? Kyle Wolf, I would say, probably is going to race east. I would say give him the most time rather than chill on the West Coast. And
Uh,
now my big thing is like, where is Joe and Cole Davies gonna go? Because I'd like to see them race against each other, but I think they're gonna be on two different coasts.
well, I mean, literally, it's $1 million question. But when you look at Cole Davies being injured, he's extremely excited to get back to racing. So if he goes ahead and jumps on West Coast, he can prep for outdoors, kind of like what we've seen Deegan do as well. Who knows? I mean, there's so many good guys that went out of the 250 class, right? We have Beaumaire not coming back. We have Vial who's gone. We have Jordan that's going up. Jordan Smith's going up to the 450. You got Marchbanks who went up to 450. Those are four guys. I'm not saying that they were all title contenders, but Vial did win the championship, regardless of how he won it. He did win it. So you do have that vacuum that's being created. Deegan going up obviously creates the biggest vacuum, but we can't forget about how good Cole was before he got hurt. If he hadn't gotten jumped on, I think we would be having a different conversation at the end of the year. That's my biased opinion. I
Well,
think Cole
in coach,
Davies was so fast.
he's such a finesse type of a rider that Supercross suits him
Mm-hmm.
rather than motocross. But even in motocross, we saw him out front in a couple motos, and it just was weird because either
Mm-hmm.
the fitness wasn't there or something. But to be honest, like, it is sort of his first shot at 35 minutes plus two. He was pretty much hot and cold one moto, then like 15th the next moto, which was
Well,
very interesting.
when you look at Cole Davies, it's a lot like Seth Hammaker, right? When we were indoors, those two guys were the talk, and then we go outdoors and we see him 5th through 8th, 10th, 12th, and we're not really not talking about him, but we're not talking about him, and we. This is another topic that we could bring up in another show. When you look at some of the riders that do tend to be a little bit more of a better A or a B, Masterpool, definitely an outdoors guy. Cole Davies, definitely an indoors guy. But you see splashes. You've seen Masterpool lead some races indoors, and you've seen Cole Davies, to your point exactly, just recently, leading some outdoors. I think, and it's no fault of our sport, it's just the nature of where we're at. The magnitude of the injuries are not talked about very much. So I think with Cole, the injuries were pretty significant, and coming back from that is never easy. And then to come back from it and then to get thrust into outdoors, to your point, 230s plus 2 with only a 1 hour break is not a whole lot of extra time. So that's what leads me into the beginning of Supercross for this year with 250s. I think it's going to be unbelievable. You have Shimoda obviously ending SMX on a high note. If you go back to Cowie, right, we have possibly a 5-man team there. It's hard to imagine that Pro Circuit has the second largest team. Star has 8. Pro Circuit has 5 if they bring Enzo Timmerman in. So when you start looking at the idea that PC is going to have a really stacked team again, I don't think anybody would eliminate McAdoo. I mean, he's been injured, unfortunately. Hopefully that ACL is healed back up. You got Seth, who showed that he's got a lot of momentum going for him. And then you got Levi Kitchen. I don't know if that was a mental meltdown. I don't know. I've heard so many different rumblings underneath the skin in regards to what happened to Levi. How much of it was mental? How much of it was he was overtrained? We get that generic on the injury list that comes out every week. We're having health issues. I love the word health issues, AKA code for fatigue-related disease. But yeah, I'm just impressed with what PC's bringing to the table. And again, once Star's got another 8-man team again this year, which is pretty crazy.
I don't know how do they afford it? How do you afford what does the contract look like? Because I know some of the whistles that I've heard with the Pro Circuit guys is some of them just are complete bonus only,
Mm-hmm.
and then other guys have real low salaries. And
Well, not so much with PC anymore, but a lot of the 250 programs, if we were to go through all the different rosters, you have a lion's share of those that are pay to play programs. You have wealthy parents that, they're used to paying along the amateur ranks. And a lot of these 250 programs, it's you get a chance to win your money back. That's pretty much what it comes down to. You pay to be on the team. And if you do top 10 or whatever, you get $5,000 back. Whatever, I'm using a loose number. So the point is when you see now, right now, I don't think anybody on the pro circuit team ends a Timmerman coming out of the amateur ranks. That might be a pay to play program. But for the most
part, do we know where Lopes is going to be?
Well, Lopes, I've not seen his name anywhere. I did obviously see him on World Supercross, but I haven't seen him anywhere else but there. And somebody else that's disappearing is Jet Reynolds. He got let go by Club MX, and I'm not seeing him popping up on anybody's radar. So these are, one of the most successful amateur racers of all time. Another one,
remember, that's because he's young too.
Yeah.
He's what, 17?
Yep. I would say maybe 20 at the most, but because he's already had 3 years in the pro ranks, but unfortunately he didn't mount to anything. The other thing that, not Max Volan, the guy that rode for the Husqvarna team, he got hurt last summer really bad. He's stepping away from the sport as well. And I'm trying to find who that was. I apologize. He got hurt. He was riding for the Husqvarna team. He got a 1-year deal on the Husqvarna. Not Styles Robertson. He stepped out away from Triumph because of his nagging wrist injury that won't heal. Give me a second here and I'll find it. Let's see here. See, we got Beaumare out there. Talon Hawkins, that's who it was. He was last year. He was riding with the AEO team. And I just think it's kind of sad that our industry, I mean, not that Talon Hawkins had the career that Forkner's had, but, the idea that he stepped away from it, and I've not seen anything. I don't know about you, but, that's a guy that did get a shot and then didn't really work out. And then his injuries were so bad in Supercross, he is not coming back to racing. And then we haven't heard much about like Derek Drake. Derek Drake's a test rider, for, I think it was Bar X. Is that right? For Bar X, he's moved over to being a test rider just because of ongoing health issues.
Well, Coach, we know that the 250 class, you're not making anything. And then you got stuff like this where the World Supercross, and damn well that they're paying a good portion of these guys to show up money. Right. And this, we've said it before, but you go race one or two of these races and it's kind of hedging against the entire year in case you get hurt or something. Cause some of these guys have got injury clause to where they don't get paid if they don't race.
Yeah. Well, again, I've gotten some people that have sent me some nasty messages saying that I don't know what I'm talking about in regards to, you've got Savachi up on the screen right now, right? I'm sorry, not Savachi.
Craig,
J. Coop, who did every single round of Supercross, motocross, SMX, and then still went over and is doing these European races. I guess J. Coop's really not the best example because J. Coop, his wife is part of the Tyson chicken family. So J. Coop doesn't need to race. I think that takes a lot of the pressure off for him. I think it allows J. Coop to race well. That's why you see a lot of like our buddies over at Supercross Voices. They're good friends with J. Coop, and they're always kind of busting his balls that he's flying private all the time. J. Coop is a very interesting athlete because I think he has no pressure to race, which is why he races so well. And he's damn good, and he's mentally tough, and he's obviously physically unbelievable. The only guy where I got ostracized on my DMs was people are like, if these guys say the season is so long, why are they doing the off-season races? To your point exactly, Johnny, guaranteed money. And so if you're not one of the top 5 guys, a Sexton, a Webb, J. Coop, Tomac, those kinds of guys, obviously the Lawrence brothers, not many people are making 3, 4. and I still don't know why this hasn't come out yet, Johnny. I'm not sure why Jet's contract is still hasn't been publicly released. Now that it's November, maybe it'll come out, but it's a 5-year deal, right? And we talked about the
For
value of it and
HRC
all that
Honda.
goes, yeah, for HRC Honda, which is great. But the idea is, with the exception of those 5 or 6 guys, you're not going to find many guys making $1 million a year. So when you do get an opportunity to go over there, and you're going to, I just interviewed, I'm sorry, I've got an interview today, so I'm misconstruing it.
It's
Jeff
okay. We're
Stanton.
live. So,
No,
whenever you're
yeah.
live and,
So
remember
we were,
shit.
well, I was fortunate enough to interview Jeff Stanton, and it'll be dropping next Monday. And he was sitting outside of a 8,500 square foot or 8,200 square foot home. And he's like, yeah, you see this house behind me? My European appearance is paid for it. And he's sitting on a 1,000-acre farm, right?
Damn, dude.
And
That sounds beautiful.
But he was talking about, that's why he went and did the European races. There was no pressure. You got guaranteed money. And so, yeah, I know that these guys are racing additional races over and above it, but Johnny, you're a businessman. You've got 2 little ones at home. Our listeners, our subscribers, live chat, you guys have family at home. Money kind of drives drives a majority of our decisions, unfortunately.
Okay, well, truthfully, like most of these guys that race motocross and supercross, it's all money motivated, right? Look at Jet, look at Deegan.
Well, it's a job.
They are literally just showing. I mean, when I was at the SMX, Jet was just saying that these 3 races for SMX are paying for his, I don't even know what Ferrari or Bugatti or whatever the shit he was buying in Florida. And he said they just have it on essentially layaway. He just has to have the check clear and he's going to go get it. But that's why he likes the SMX so much, is because it's a full series paycheck inside of 3 races. And it was like, yeah, okay. So these guys it's all about the money, all about the money.
Well, anybody who's listening to this show, whether it's live or recording, think about it. Take whatever your cost of living is, and then you're making, let's just say, twice as much money as your cost of living is. So that's your salary. Then you go and you race on the weekend and you pick up another $100,000, $250,000. I don't know about you. I'm just using my son because I spoke to him last night, right? He wants a flats boat, $12,000, right? Well, my son would like a flats boat to go hunting, duck hunting and stuff like that. Jet, he's got all of his bills are paid for. The dog pound is under their LLC. So that facility is not costing him money, right? It's a cost of doing business. And who cares if he goes and buys a Bugatti? He's not taking money out of, he doesn't have any children, but he's not taking food off the table to go buy a Bugatti. It's just like Dazzy driving in that Bentley in the video that he did to Lucas Myrtle, thanking him for, hey, dude, if it wasn't for your work, we wouldn't have the lifestyle that we have. So when somebody that's 20 years old, 21, 22 years old is buying another exotic car, who cares? Good for you, dude.
Coach, I find it as to like, why in the hell is, because we're sitting here talking about all the money, right? And why in the hell don't we see Jet or Hunter for World Supercross? Because you know damn well that they've been poached. Do you think they're just too expensive?
No, they're making such good money. You know, Jet's going to be making $3 to $4 million just from HRC for 5 years. It's just dollars and cents. I remember.
But I mean, they took money for the Australian Supercross stuff. I guess it's their hometown race.
Well, that was kind of like
the Australian World Supercross.
Yeah, but like what Lucas did was they kind of made that a Lawrence event. So that ties more into the marketing side. And again, each season's a little bit different. Depends on if you're Lucas Myrtle or one of these top agents and you're trying to project, hey, what does 2026 look like for you? It's just like you, Johnny, choosing your races, right? You're like, okay, what are my big key races for the year? I'm going to do Ironman Chattanooga. I'm going to do Boulder. I'm going to do LA. Okay. So then you set your schedule up accordingly. For these guys, everywhere they go, there's money attached to it. So if they go and they do that, I call it the Lawrence race, they might make a couple $1 million. They might make $500,000. They might make $100,000. It's just dollars and cents on what they put into it.
Okay. I don't know the difference between pesos, but the tickets, Jason Anderson stand, 69.
What is this, is this gambling or something? What is this?
No. This is tickets for the World Supercross. World Supercross
$79,000.
$790,000 VIP parking including, but that's pesos. So
Oh, pesos. Oh, because it's in Argentina. I'm sorry. Yeah.
yeah.
So just
I was just trying to see like where the hell do you watch it?
So 70. Well, that doesn't make sense. 79,000 pesos to dollars is $4,300 US. So what the hell are you getting for 79,000 pesos? Right there.
No, there's no. Are you really think that that's that much?
I just put it in. 79,000 pesos to dollars is 4,300 US dollars for a ticket. Something's not right there, or my Google search is wrong. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But when you go back to the idea of why are they not doing certain races,
it's $4,256.
Yeah.
What the hell? So then
I'm not quite
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, okay. We got a.
And why different prices for different? Are they selling their bike stands? Is that what they're doing? Is this like an auction for charity or something?
Maybe. It says plus tickets and booking fee.
So I'm not sure what all that involves.
But then that just makes.
So Caboose Racing said, if you go in the top right-hand corner, you can buy the pass for
right here.
$30. That must be a charity thing, because Caboose Racing is saying if you go in the top right-hand corner, you can buy the pass for $30. Oh, I'm sorry. He's talking about the how to watch. He said go in the top right-hand corner, and you can buy it for $30.
Oh yeah. See, thank you. It literally just says watch.
Yep.
Okay,
there you go.
sign in and for $30. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so Jet Gaming has on there Argentina peso, not Mexican peso. Thank you for the clarification. I didn't know there was a difference.
Yeah. Okay. Let me look at that real quick because
perfect. Thank you, Jet Gaming. So yeah, this is goes back to like you're saying, when those top guys are making $4 or $5 million a year. When I say Jet's the only one making that kind of money right now, they don't need to go. I remember Ricky Carmichael getting
that makes such a big difference. Okay, so from $7,800, it goes to
$40,
$100.
Okay,
for the Deegan stand.
Okay,
whatever that is. So okay, yeah. So appreciate you guys for showing me how to do that to watch too, because this one is definitely something that I want to watch.
Well, and I remember Ricky, they were talking about the stickers on his helmet. If you guys go back and you look at Ricky, he had Aeronautique on his helmet. And I remember Ricky talking about the idea that every sticker that goes on my helmet is a day that I cannot train. And this reminds me,
say that again. Every
day that every sticker that he's got on his helmet means that he has an obligation to another company. So if you're Aeronautique and you're paying Ricky Carmichael $100,000 a year, they want some photo shoots. They want to do some ads. So he's got to get on a plane. He's got to go do a photo shoot. Now, again, he's getting compensated for it. But Ricky's big thing was, now I'm not able to go train that day. Now think about it from Ricky's standpoint. He could go win a weekend, make $100,000 in one win, or he can get paid $100,000 from Aeronautique and have to go do 2 photo shoots, 3 signing sessions, et cetera, et cetera. I know we're all saying, woe is me, right? I remember Lance Armstrong saying this. He was expected to do a Nike commercial, and his agent lined it up. He was supposed to be at the commercial from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. He rolls up at 7:45. He's there at 3:01. He walks off the set, gets in his car and drives off. And the producer is like raising holy heck. What are you doing? And Lance says, I was paid to be here from 8 to 3. I'm a professional cyclist. If you can't get done what needs to be done between 8 and 3, that's not my problem. I fulfilled my obligation. And he's like, I've got to go get my bike ride in. And it's the same kind of idea here. Is it's like the value of time and money, time, value. This is what I love about the branding side of our sport, right? When Mike Grundle is very big on this with the Geico Honda side of things, he's very big on branding, obviously founding Planet Fitness. So when you look at his conversation, he's like, it's all about branding. And like you're saying there, Johnny, like those guys going over there, it's building that World Supercross brand off of the backs of these riders, but the riders are getting compensated up front. And I think we've talked about it before, I think with these new investors coming in, I think you're going to see a lot more momentum going because you've got those two billionaires that have invested in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys have built and sold soccer teams. We refer to them as, I'm sorry, they call it football. We call it soccer. Those guys aren't investing in something to watch it go down. This is a perfect example. Those investors just came in the last 2 years, and look at that roster of riders that are guaranteed to show up. I mean,
Yeah,
you've got Anderson thrown in there on top of Roxon from the same team.
because
Tomac.
First year was essentially just Roxon. Second year was basically Tomac. And here, I mean, Savachi's been there through all of them. He's a damn good rider. However, he just doesn't have like the star power. Christian Craig, 250 star power, but he is racing the 450. Then you have these, I want to say, essentially privateerish type guys.
No, that Devin Simonson just signed on with Club MX for 26 full time. He's legit. That's one of Daniel Blair's boys. Henry Miller, he's been a staple. I worked with him probably 10 years ago when he was riding for Phil Milko's Honda team.
These guys are okay. Austin and Ryan, these are damn good riders. They just haven't had big teams so far.
You got Ryan Brees, who's an arena cross champion when he was riding for GPF. You got Politelli, who's always been a staple, particularly on the West Coast.
Well, now he's got a big opportunity with MCR here. And then Jordy Tixter,
I think,
there's an MXGP guy.
Go back up just one. Isn't he replacing at MCR? Isn't he replacing Vince Freese, Politelli? Because Brees was already on the team last year. I think
you're right, because he's on the Stark. This is going to be scary to watch these guys on the Starks.
Yeah, he's going to be invisible, and he's just going to be like he's the invisible bat that just comes and takes you out, and you're like, what the hell just hit me? You want to hear him coming, and you won't see him go away.
Yeah.
That's a lethal combo.
The whole Star Yamaha, they're sending like half their guys on there.
But see, this is where I'm interested. This will be the first time KTM will ever be at World Supercross. KTM has never had a presence at World Supercross.
It is interesting that, though, just like you said, everything aligns with Tomac going to KTM, just like we've all said it's going to happen in the next day or two. But he is the defending champion, and he is only doing 2 races this year. He's not defending his championship. He is just doing 2 races out of 5. So
and we all know, if you look at Webb right there, we know that Webb never starts the series on fire. Those are his words, not mine. And so for him to be able to kind of get some of the get the cobwebs kicked off, going back to Supercross, coming back as a defending champion and get paid appearance money, he's smiling from ear to ear. It's a win-win for all these guys. World Supercross is in this. I mean, look at that. Tomac, shake down a new team. Cooper, make sure the dust webs are kicked off. Jay Coop, he just wants a weekend with his bride going over the other side of the world. Deegan shaking down a 450. You got Vince Freese that's going to make the Stark. He's going to be the stealth bomber that's going to come in and destroy everybody.
But then isn't he over here in the States? Isn't he riding for a Kawasaki team?
Yeah, he's riding for the Kawasaki team. And that's the part that's so crazy about it is when you look at that, he's riding for that ISRT. That's that Bubba Pauly's team. The ISRT stands for International Supercross Race Team. And so the idea that I don't know about you, Johnny, you've ridden the electric bike. You've ridden this, the different motocross bikes. How incredible. I think it's difficult going from an electric bike to a 450 Cowie for Supercross. I don't know. That to me would seem difficult, but hey, opportunities fit to pay the bills, I guess, is the name of the game.
And I want to know how they enforce, because it's essentially the same motorcycle for the 250 and the 450. So how do you prevent from just turning the CDI box with like the near field communication or some sort of Bluetooth to, your guy is out there and he's locked in at 35 or 40 horsepower and you just flip a switch and like, oh, he needs to make a pass. Boom. He's going to 50. There's going to be fucking people cheating for that. You damn well know that people are going to be doing that.
I couldn't agree with you more on how they're going to keep that from happening. And World Supercross seems to be pretty keen on new ideas. So they hopefully have some kind of a checks and balances in there to figure out what that is.
Interesting. Shock is going to race the little
Now
bike.
that I don't understand. Why would he race the 250 over there when he's racing 450 over here? Colin Park. I mean, that is he under? Oh, he's back on MCR. Okay, because here stateside he's racing for Phoenix Honda, so it's still Honda.
Max ANC.
Now it's interesting. Kyle Chisholm you have on there. He's officially been released by HEP Racing, so he has no American contracts anymore. So that's his lifeline.
But he's still racing for essentially the same team, you know?
Yes, but he has no spot over here with them bringing Anderson on. I think that kind of sucked a little bit of money they had for Kyle.
Well, and what a bummer for him that it looks like Anderson is going to get the bike that he's always wanted.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a bummer for Kyle. I think Kyle, I was very fortunate to work with Kyle when we were teammates with James Stewart with Sam Manuel. Look at Kyle Chisholm's look at Kyle Chisholm's career. If you look at the current, he's raced against Jet and Hunter Lawrence. He's been racing against Roxon for quite a few years. He's raced against Jeremy McGrath, James Stewart, Chad Reed, Ricky Carmichael, JT Money. If you're looking at somebody who has probably had, and I'd love to, in fact, statistically, I'd be curious to see if anyone's had a broader breadth of generation that Kyle Chisholm has raced. Because when I was doing the Toyota Moving Forward program, he was part of that, and that was at Loretta's. That's where I first got introduced to Kyle Chisholm. So if you're looking at that, let's just call it generically 20 years of him racing. I mean, Ricky Carmichael's come and retired. James Stewart's come and retired. Chad Reed has come and retired. You look at all these guys, and Kyle Chisholm just now is not going to be going back to Pro Supercross in 2026. That's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay. Lance Kobush, good starter. And he's on a Stark?
Yeah. With
oh boy,
Michael Hicks. But about that, the ECUs are supposed to be locked. Yeah, they're supposed to be locked. But let's just say you go through tech inspection, right? And then afterwards, you just load the different CDI box up and they go on the line, and then flip a switch. Because, okay, Coach, a couple years ago, I was getting called by one of the teams. I won't say what team it is. Mm-hmm. They're at World Supercross. That was like, hey, there's some shit going down with the Suzuki guys because they're supposed to be taking drug tests, but they don't want to, and all sorts of stuff. So they were trying to create issues. And then here in the States, we've had guys that fail sound. Like I believe the Star Yamahas were failing sound at the races because they were allegedly changing with the app, the ECU, the maps, the fuel maps, before they go check in after the podium or whatever to make sure that their bike is going to pass.
Yep.
So I'm just saying that if there's a way, which there's got to be a way to cheat, those Starks are the unlimited cheat code right now because
Well, we'll find out when the gate drops and if they go in 9 bike lengths ahead of everybody, especially if the top 5 bikes are going to be Lance Kobush, who was a gentleman that you just had up there, Michael Hicks, which again, these are arena cross guys that know the tight arenas, right? And then you throw in there Vince Freezy on a 450. If they go in 7 bike lengths ahead of everybody, I think you just got your questions answered, unless they're smart enough to realize, hey, we don't want to make it too obvious. We just need to be a half a bike length in front of everybody. There's a lot to be said there.
Yeah.
But
and
zoom out to 10,000 feet. I just thought about this when you were articulating that. Zoom out to 10,000 feet. What a difference 5 years makes. We got Ducati making a 450 debut with Barsha and Ferrandis. We've got Stark bikes. We're talking not just one bike, right? Remember when Josh Hill was out there on a Stark bike? Maybe I'm wrong. Was it Josh Hill that was racing it over in Europe?
I'm bummed that Justin and Josh didn't get a ride with Stark for World Supercross, because they've done so much with the Altas and the Surons. You think they would be the perfect guys for that.
Who did Justin sign with? I saw him on that roster earlier.
Let me look real quick.
I didn't catch the team that he was with.
I believe he was on the
You're on 250s there, yeah.
Full fitties.
There
Buds
he is right there. With which one? Buds?
Yeah.
And I think that just ties in. And this is what I like about Justin. Justin's loyal to the core. I think that ties in with his Tedder team over here, which is all Cowies.
Yeah, true.
I think it's out of respect because the Tedders actually invested and bought and leased, not bought, they leased some Cowie motors, and that's expensive as all get out. That's what Chad Reed did with from the bike or from the manufacturers, the OEMs. I think that's more of a loyalty thing for Justin. But I do agree. I mean, you and I are talking about Justin Hill, Josh Hill being on an electric bike. In my opinion, this is just me as a fan of the sport. When I think of the first time I saw an electric bike, it was with the Hill brothers. You know, he was making it look easy. And obviously those guys are just ridiculously talented. But yeah, but think about, we've got Ducati coming in. We've got Stark coming in. We've got a lot new landscapes.
Triumph with the new 450, which
450s with
heard
Harrop
nothing but horrible things about that bike.
But think about, you've got Harrop and I'm drawing a mental blank, not Jason Anderson.
Smith?
No, Jordan Smith. Thank you. Gosh, Rob. The 250 going up to the 450 there. So we got Triumph and Ducati coming in. We've got Stark coming in. We've got very unique dynamics with Cowie, KTM, all of that's going on with that. This last year has been kind of a debacle for both KTM and Cowie. It's kind of interesting how the teams have changed. I do want to, I have never spoken to Jade Dudgy, even though I worked with Ryan. I've never spoken with Jade Dudgy in my life. My heart bleeds for that dude. Here he is working at Factory Honda. He can't get along with Chase Sexton, so he bails and goes to KTM. Sexton leaves Honda, goes to KTM. Jade's got to work with Sexton. Sexton leaves KTM, and who does Jade Dudgy get to work with this year? Prado. The poor guy, it's like, if there can't be a bigger dark cloud following his rider around, Sexton doesn't want to play well with others, so he goes and leaves Honda and goes to KTM. Jade's got to deal with that as a mechanic and all the stupid, media that goes around it, questioning everything. And then Sexton bounces, and who does he get? The most controversial rider of 2025. Mm-hmm. He's got Prado that he's got. And think about it. This is why my heart, I don't want to say bleeds for Jade because he's a bad dude. He's a phenomenal mechanic. If Prado doesn't win, who are they going to blame? The bike. And who works on the bike? So nothing that Jade can do is either going to be right or wrong. Everything he does is going to be wrong. Because if he wins, Prado,
it would be interesting having like an unfiltered conversation with him, seeing what.
If Prado wins, Prado gets all the credit. If Prado doesn't win, the bike's a stink bug, and it's once again Jade's fault. And I'm just like, man, that poor dude for the last 15 years of his career, he's one of the best mechanics. I mean, he's right there with Carlos. Carlos is one of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet. He was Dungey's mechanic.
Oh yeah, dude. Carlos, he's a hoot there.
He is. He's the real deal. I got a privilege to work with him when I was with Dunge. And the idea that he's moved up the pecking order with Ian and those guys at KTM, I'm phenomenal dude. But the idea that, all these guys, the way that what they have to work with, you and I've talked about it before, right? The rider can wreck 114 times, but if that bike breaks, mechanic, what the hell's going on? Like when Sexton.
How do you think Prado is going to do in the MXGPs again?
Prado? He's not going to MXGPs.
I was hearing that
VL.
He was trying to.
Prado's already signed with KTM.
Oh, shit. Okay. So.
Yeah, he's already signed with KTM. He got Vial's money. He's getting about $500K. He got Vial's money for 1 year. So, but speaking of loyalty and brands and stuff, I do find it interesting / cool that Fox stayed with Prado, with all the stink that was around that whole situation. And I'm not stating anything that's unique, right? Prado comes out and he kills it on that KTM. Cowie's got egg all over their face.
Well, that's going to be pretty close to what he was riding with the gas. It's going to feel.
But if you've got Prado that keeps saying that Cowie's a stink bug, and then you've got Sexton goes over and just dominate. I'm using the word loosely, does extremely well on the Cowie. Mm-hmm. Prado looks like he has no value whatsoever.
With Sexton, I don't even think he has to dominate, Coach. I think it's just he has to be fighting for up front, right? He just has to be in the hunt to prove Prado wrong.
Either Prado or Marchbanks. I still think Marchbanks is the one that's going to surprise a lot of people. I don't think he's going to come out and win a lot of stuff, but I don't think you're going to see him outside the top 5 almost every weekend.
Dude, with that big of a heavy hitting class,
He's afraid of nobody. He's been around for so long. A lot of people don't realize how long Marchbanks has been around. Go back to PC. He wins Daytona and then gets released from PC at the end of the year. Goes over, bounces to Club MX, gets under the tutelage of some really good guys there. He's afraid of nobody, and he's looking at this opportunity like, bitches, I'm here to show you what I can do. He's a good starter. We never see it because he's so big on the 250. But I think you're going to be surprised with Marchbanks. I don't think he'll back down from anybody. Now, again, I do agree with you. It's a very stacked class, but I don't think, now there's obviously a big assumption. He's got to gel with the bike, but he's been familiar with Cowie platform for a while. And so I don't know. I know I said it last week and some people thought I was crazy thinking that he's going to do better than Sexton. Sexton will either win or be 10th and have some reasoning behind it. Marchbanks is going to be captain consistent, I believe.
Okay. Well, I would say that the next podcast we're going to do is going to be after the first World Supercross. So I want to know what do you think is going to happen who's your money on? Who's your money on with the 450s? Because Deegan's going to be there.
Yeah,
Roxon's going to be there.
That's kind of Roxon's playground, right? I mean, he's been there for 4 or 5 years. We know Roxon gets really good starts. I have to go on the history of that with Deegan. Would any of us be surprised if he wins? No, that's just Deegan. I think if you ever bet against Deegan, it's a mistake. But I wouldn't give him the nod over Roxon. Savachi's another one. Savachi's captain consistent over there as well. He's been around a long time. And let's not forget, these 450 guys don't want to get embarrassed by Deegan in his first showing. There's a lot.
Imagine if Freeze takes out Deegan on the start.
Would you be surprised? I wouldn't be surprised because Freezy is smart enough to know where's the attention. It's going to be around Deegan. Where do you think Freezy's going to go? Where the attention is.
Yeah.
Right. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Freezy just mess with him. Just not pass him. Just keep messing with him.
Do you think Freezy might be the guy that could get into Deegan's head?
I don't think Freezy will be the one that gets into Deegan's head. I think it'll be Cooper Webb. I think it'll be those guys. And it's interesting because obviously they're teammates, but Cooper Webb does not want to be dethroned by the rookie. That I can absolutely guarantee you. Cooper Webb is a freaking pit bull. He does not like to lose. Mm-hmm. And we know that Cooper doesn't come out fast and hard. And that's why I'm hoping he is able to change that.
Well, he relies on his head more than he does his ability.
Yeah. And, we've seen that with Cooper. That was like the year that Ken Roxon was riding for Honda and came out double barrels firing. And then things slowly fell apart and Cooper just started gaining momentum that year that he won with KTM. That was a huge paradigm shift mid-season. That's that Cooper Webb. He's always in it. Just when you count him out, he proves everybody wrong. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting to see the dynamics.
So who is it? Who is it of these SOBs?
I've got to go Roxon. He's familiar with where he's at. I would say Roxon, Savachi. But Savachi. I also wouldn't be surprised to see Freezy get that Stark bike up there just because of so much torque on such a small track. And then how do you count out J Coop, who's also a good start? And then you've got Deegan, who none of us would be surprised. Yeah, oh gosh, Cooper Webb. I don't put Tomac up there just because of the new platform.
Well, Tomac's not racing this one.
Oh, that's right. Not round one.
Neither is Webb.
You said round 2. Yeah. But I'm going to have egg on my face if Cooper Webb comes out and wins. I'd be, that you got to give these guys credit. World Supercross, and I hope these guys don't take this as a personal offense. I'm just, again, please take it with a grain of salt. World Supercross roster, when we looked at it over the last 3 to 4 years, you're like, oh, cool, Roxon's over there. And then we would talk about a few other ancillary guys. Slowly scroll through that again from top to bottom. Savachi, Christian Craig, Henry Miller's no slouch, right? We got Savachi, a 250 champion, Christian Craig, a 250 champion, Ken Roxon, a world champion, a 450 champion, Anderson, 250 champion, Reese, an arena cross champion, Justin
Jordy
Hill.
Picture's done a lot of the Paris Supercross stuff. And
yep. Justin Hill, he's a champion in the 250 class. Freezy's always there. You got J Coop, 250 champion. He was third in the 450. Deegan, 5-time champion. And then you've got the legend himself, Tomac, with the mental beast, Cooper Webb. Look at that roster in World Supercross and the difference in the last 3 years. From one
They're
guy.
They're definitely paying quite a bit of money for this. Quite a bit of money.
But you've got to get, because 5 years ago, it was like an afterthought. And hey, this is another thing. I don't have Roxon on my cell phone, but we've got to give credit where credit is due. And I know money drove it, right? But Roxon put this on the map. Even when they had the old management group that maybe wasn't very well organized, they were able to get Roxon to come over. And I think they paid him almost $1 million for that contract for the World Supercross.
They did. They paid him and Tomac around $1 million for the first time it was. So I don't know if it's spread more thin this time around, because
no, it's gone up. It's gone way up because those two billionaires put the influx of cash into it. Johnny, just to put things in perspective, these two guys are billionaires, right? You know,
and I'm sure they're willing to take a loss for a few years before they start seeing it start running itself.
100%. Well, just to give you, when you look at the PTO, the triathlon side, the PTO, the T100 series, they've got an influx of $10 million per year. That's triathlon. And that's not owned by billionaires. And it's not privately owned. That's a capital venture group that did the T100.
Yeah,
so when you come back over to this,
so
when you come back over to this, like T100, their contracts, just the contracts were $3 million for the athletes. They only contracted 20 triathletes. So you come back over to this with billionaires, and I pull that roster back up real quick, if you don't mind. In the 450 class, how many total riders is that? So we have four per, go all the way to the top. Let's go down quick.
Yeah, 4,
so
8, 12, 16.
You got 18
so, essentially 16, because there's going to be guys that aren't.
Those are the two wild cards. Yeah. So 16 dudes, and let's just say they're getting anywhere between, I would say, 25 to 50,000 to show up. Now that's 450. We got the same number over to the 250.
Okay. 16. No wild cards.
Go to the 250. Who do you think is the guy they're paying the most to be there for 250s?
Well, I think these guys are just on the team, right? I don't know if World Supercross would be paying anybody over there.
And the reason why I bring that up, because I have to agree with you 100%. Max Anstey is doing it? Oh,
yeah,
boy.
he's going to be definitely.
That's the ringer. Yeah, that's the ringer. I didn't know he was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. And, this is when we were talking a little bit earlier about the 250s. Who do you think is going to win? If you go and you look at that Star Yamaha team, right? You've got, I don't see them putting Cole Davies and Max Anstey on the same coast, but we cannot forget both of those guys. I'm not going to say we're dominating, but they both had the points lead before they got injured. If those guys both come back as healthy as they were when they got injured, how do you bank against them in the 250 class? And again, I know Shimoda's in there. I know Seth's coming back. But then you look at the other guys that have vacated. Star Yamaha is positioned once again to possibly take both coasts. If you think that, either of those guys can beat Shimoda. Shimoda seems to have a lot of momentum.
It looks as if they're going to be on different coasts, but if it's between Joe and Cole, I would give it to Cole.
And then who would you give it between Max and Joe?
Max seems to have some bad luck for some dumb reason, dude. He's fast, but I'd probably give it to Joe. Joe.
And obviously, it's not really fair to Max or to Cole Davies because they didn't get to finish the season, and we're talking about Joe based on how he finished the season. Obviously, he came out on top. That's why I always get so excited about the beginning of the year. And I really don't believe, even whether it's the 450s or 250s, you need 2 or 3 rounds for everybody to just kind of settle in. Like the old saying goes, "Oh, he's looking so fast at the test track." It's a totally different story when the gate drops, as we all know so well,
Agreed, coach. So, hey, we are a little over that hour. Actually, an hour and 20 minutes. So,
we talked
will be
40
back
minutes
here
on
Monday.
450s. Yes.
Yeah, at around that same time, 8:15, 8:30. And, that is Mountain Standard Time, or 10:15, 10:30 Eastern time. And I want you to stay tuned. I've got a couple riding tutorials that are coming out this week, and the review from an old man's perspective on the new Ducati. And I think you might be surprised at what I have to say. So keep an eye out for that and hit that subscribe button. And Coach has got a new guest coming on the podcast that's releasing. Was it Stanton or is it somebody else?
Yeah, we got Stanton will drop a week from today. And then we're actually interviewing, I got quite a bit of feedback with our BMX legend, Greg Hill. I'm actually speaking with Billy Griggs. He was actually Greg Hill was a pro when I was an amateur. And then Billy Griggs and I were in the same class. And then Billy went on to continue racing and do very well, works for Razor right now. So the BMX guys, they're big fans of moto. So they'll bring a lot of character to it as well. But the Meet the Guest has been great. We've been very fortunate with having everybody from J-Mart, like I said, with having Jeff Stanton and Ian Treadle. We've had a very broad spectrum of riders sharing what it's like transitioning from being the top guy with a lot of phone calls to also it gets kind of quiet around the edges. And how do you handle that physically? How do you handle the injuries and the bouncing back? We've even had the one and only Mr. Johnny Hopper on there very early on, sharing his stories of overcoming the mental turmoils of success. So I just enjoy it. And I appreciate you bringing it up on here. I'm still a huge fan of the sport. I respect all of these guys immensely. So that's why we have one. It's Meet the Guest, next chapter. What's it like transitioning? We have a amateur motocross, navigating amateur motocross, which goes from 65s to vets. And then we have the vet show itself, talking about balancing family and riding and responsibilities. We just had Zeb Armstrong on the show, and we were talking about the fear associated with being a vet rider. So I just enjoy bench racing, and like my co-host Derek Harris with navigating amateur motocross, just trying to clear up the air a little bit. So I appreciate everybody supporting it more than you guys realize. But yeah, Johnny, thanks for bringing it up. It's a pleasure to get to interview these guys. I'm very humbled by it, to say the least.
Hell yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, appreciate everybody. Till next time, keep it WFO.